Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am super excited for today's video. If you guys know, you know, I love statistics specifically. I love numbers, I love math, but stats specifically within the math genre is like one of my favorite things. So today I am talking to you all about my last 3 years of makeup empties. I saw Sarah Rose do a makeup analysis video and I thought it was such a fun idea. I wanted to follow suit. I have been tracking my makeup empties for the last 3 years since 2020 and I want to compare year over year where we are at. I've said many times on my channel 2022 was my year of least makeup consumption, and I thought it would just be fun to compare what makeup products I used up this year per category to the years prior, look at my average products used up per category over the course of the last 3 years, and kind of see where it compares to where my makeup inventory numbers lie currently. So if you missed my 2023 makeup inventory, I'll leave that linked below, but I'll also be referencing my makeup inventory numbers in today's video as we chat through my makeup empties, my typical makeup consumption, etc. So if you want to nerd out with me for a little bit here and you want to hear about my makeup empties over the course of the last 3 years, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project painting content or just chit-chatting about makeup, perhaps you love math, I would love if you would consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. Alright you guys, the day that I'm filming this is currently football Sunday over here. The 49ers and the Cowboys game is about to start. If you are a Cowboys fan, I apologize, but I really don't want the Cowboys to win. And I don't even like the 49ers, but like I extra don't like the Cowboys. I don't know what it is because I actually like Dak Prescott. But I, for as long as I can remember, just cannot stand the Cowboys. And I think it's because I feel like they haven't been like, if you're a Cowboys fan, close your ears. Why do they get every single primetime game? Like, it's just annoying. I get that they're America's football team, but like, who decided that? So I'm really hoping that the Cowboys lose today. The Vikings lost last week in the first round of the playoffs. Yes, if you're a Cowboys fan, you can hate on you can hate on the MN Vikings in the comments below, but I'm very sad about it. And the Buffalo Bills lost today, which I'm also extremely sad about, but I also do like the Cincinnati Bengals, so I'm not like as mad, but like the Cowboys, they better lose today. So if you see me looking off to the side, it's because I'm watching the game as I film. Now that we've rambled on about football, if you love football, would love to chat with you about football in the comments below. But let's get into the video. I'm also going to be looking this way because I'll be referencing my spreadsheet, and I'll also be looking down because I'm going to be referencing my makeup inventory notes. But we're gonna go category by category and talk about my makeup empties and just like chat about it. So I'm gonna start with the foundation category. I was actually really surprised. So it is always fun to kind of reflect on these numbers because I feel like in my head I'm like, oh yeah, I used up like, I thought I had used up like 14 foundations in 2020, but when I reflected back, it looks like I actually only used up 8 foundations in 2020, 6 foundations in 2021, and I actually had 7 foundation empties in 2022, which I was really surprised that I had more foundation empties this year than I did in 2021, just because I had not been wearing makeup quite as frequently in 2022 than I had in 2021. So average, I use or empty 7 foundations a year. And I currently have 29 foundations in my collection. I will also leave my makeup rehab series link down below. I recently did my introduction for 2023 and I am changing things up this year. So I have stricter goals for myself, and I did tell myself I have to finish 3 foundations before I can purchase another foundation this year. I do think part of, like, as I reflect on some of these numbers, like we're gonna get to primer next. And actually, let's just move on to primer so I can finish my thought about this. But primer, in 2020, I finished off 25 primers. And I'm like, what? And I think I had a lot of primer minis that I must have finished off. But I also must have had quite a few primers I was like almost done with when we entered 2020 to have 25 primer empties. I'm also probably certain that I like. There are certain primers where if it wasn't working for me as a primer, I would use it. Like there's a couple of primers that I ended up using as like a body moisturizer if it was a moisturizing primer that I didn't love on my face. So I'm like 25, that's excessive. In 2021 I used up 12 primers, and then in 2022 I used up 8 primers. So my average primer empty total is 15. So I think my thought about this was just, I think there's some categories where some of the years are a little bit different because maybe I enter the year with, you know, 5 foundations that are only half full. So those are a little bit easier to finish. Whereas if I had started the year with all full foundations, it wouldn't be as easy to finish, if that makes any sense at all. 15, for like an average of 15 primer empties feels like a lot. I do currently have 17 primers in my collection, but like, I don't know if I'm gonna finish off 15 primers this year. I do have a couple of minis currently in my collection, so I'm hopeful that I can finish off at least 10, but I will be really curious to continue to track year after year to kind of see like how the averages change. But yeah, 15 is my average primer empty. For the powder category, in 2020 I had 5 powder empties, which I was like, I don't remember having 5. Like that seems like a lot. In 2021 I had 2 powder empties, which seems more realistic, and then last year I only had 1 powder empty, which was my Kosas Cloud Set powder, which literally took me all year to finish that powder. Like I primarily focused on that powder and barely reached for any of my other powders. I do think in 2020 I finished some more like loose powders, but still like 5 powder empties feels like a lot. So my average powder empty per year is 3, which actually seems like realistic. Like I feel like I could finish 3 powders this year. I'm currently working on the Dior Powder No powder in my Rolling Project 10 pan, and I'm hoping that I could finish off the my Hourglass Ambient Light powder this year. So that would be 2, and maybe I could find another powder to finish off. I currently have 11 powders in my collection. That is including both pressed powders as well as loose powders. So not super excessive, but considering I average 3 powder empties a year, it's still a lot. Okay, concealer was another category. I was like, what was going on in 2020 other than COVID? What was going on that I finished 7 concealers in 2020? Like what? I do remember finishing like the Ulta Beauty concealer, which like barely had any product in it. And then I wonder if I had some like mini concealers and also other concealers that I was close to finishing off. I feel like that was one category where it was like, I was probably halfway or more than halfway through a bunch of concealers. But concealer I feel like takes me forever to get through, because in 2021 I only finished 2 concealers, and then in 2021 I finished 2 concealers, and then in 2022 I only finished 1 concealer. So my average concealer empty or consumption per year is 3.3, which still feels like a lot to me. I am currently working on the e.l.f. concealer and Laura Mercier, so I have 2 concealers I'm working on, but I'm like, ooh, like I feel like getting through 2 concealers this year would be a feat. Although I will say I am pretty close to finishing my e.l.f. concealer because I entered the year with that one almost being an empty anyway. My concealer collection currently stands at 13 concealers, and concealer is like a category that I really just probably should put myself on a no buy for all year. Maybe I should put myself on I can purchase 1 or 2 concealers this year. In fact, I'm gonna take a note. As I chat through some of this, I'm like, I'll take notes for upcoming challenges to myself within my makeup rehab series, but I really don't need to add concealer to my collection. It's not a makeup category I get excited to like try, but yet I have 13 concealers in my collection, and I did some decluttering of concealers too, so that's where we're sitting with concealer. For a setting spray, in 2020 I had 16 empties in the setting spray category, and I have mentioned many times I like to just mist my face. Like I just enjoy spraying my face. So I always have like a setting spray in my car that I like, or like a facial spray in my car, because especially in the summertime, if I'm like hot, I will just spray my face. And I have always had a rather long commute to work, so I will just like spray my face in the car. But as I do my makeup, like throughout my makeup application process, I also mist my face quite frequently. When I hear people say they only have like 1 or 2 facial mist setting sprays throughout the year, I'm like, what? I use up so much makeup mists. But in 2020 I used up 16, in 2021 I used up 12, and then in 2022 I used up 10 for an average of 12.6. I actually currently only have 4 setting sprays in my collection, which feels so good. And this is a category that, like, I assume I'll always have somewhere between like 3 to 5 sprays. I would like to not see it get over 5, but I will probably always have at least, I would say, 10 makeup or 10 setting spray empties every year. Like, I would be surprised, somewhere between 8 and 10 would be my guess, just because I love to mist my face. Next up, we have the bronzer category. In 2020 I had 2 bronzer empties. In 2021 I had 0, which kind of caught me off guard. I thought I had 1 in 2021, but I guess not. And then in 2022 I did have 1 bronzer empty, and it was the Tarte Sea Breezy cream bronzer in just the mini size. So I average 1 bronzer empty per year. And bronzer is a category that I would love to have at least 2 empties this year. I'm hoping, actually 3 I would love to have 2 powder bronzer empties this year. I have 2 currently in my collection. Actually, I have quite a few, at least 5 with pan on them. 2 that stick out in my mind as bronzers that I would love to try and finish this year, although powder bronzer still takes forever to get through. And then I would like to finish off, there's 1 liquid bronzer that I'm currently working on in one of my projects. Would love to have a cream or liquid empty in this category. But I also currently have 28 bronzers in my collection. So by my average, I have 28 years of bronzer currently in my collection. So I I should be on a bronzer buying ban, but I just don't think I can do that to myself. I love to try new bronzer. Like, I would say it goes like eyeshadow palettes, foundation, and then bronzer, possibly bronzer and then foundation. Like, those 2 categories are like tied, but I just love to buy new bronzers. So that is definitely a problem category for me. For the mascara category, so mascaras, I just want to preface this by saying, no matter what, if mascara has reached the 3 or 4 month mark, I count it as an empty, even if it's not an actual empty tube of mascara. I just don't, mascara is like the one area in my makeup collection that I like to be super careful about not expiring or not chancing it. And I also usually have at least 3 to 4 mascaras open at a time, which I know seems super wasteful and super excessive, and I totally get that. But I love to just cocktail my mascaras. I like to use different mascaras for different reasons, and I'm usually using like 2 to 3 different mascaras per makeup application. I know that seems extra, that's just the way that I do my mascara. You do you, girl. I'm gonna do me and my mascara. But I do want to preface that before going into where we were at for empties within mascara. But in 2020, I used up 14 mascaras. In 2021, I used up 16 mascaras. And then in 2022, I had 10 mascara empties. I also typically only ever have like smaller size mascaras. Like, rare is the day that I have larger mascaras, because I swear I never purchase mascara. Like, it's always coming free gift with purchase or whatever. So it's always typically like the travel size mascaras, but I average 13.3 mascara empties per year. I currently have, where's my mascara? I think it's like 26. I currently have 26 mascaras in my collection. I'm on a mascara buying ban for the entire year. Like, no buying any mascara. I'm on a mascara no buy, but that's where we sit for that category. All right, for lip balm, I love lip balm. I am a lip balm girly. I live in Minnesota, so my lips are constantly like the driest of the dry. So in 2020, I used up 10 lip balms. In 2021, I used up 14. And then in 2022, I had 7 lip balm empties for an average of 10.3. Great. I currently have, I think it's only 10 actually. I currently have 10 lip balms in my collection, so I actually have less lip balm in my collection than I typically, on average, empty out per year. I always have a lip balm. I have lip balm everywhere. Like, I have it in my bathroom, I have it in my desk, I have it in my car, I have it in my purse, in my coat pocket, in my nightstand. I have lip balm everywhere. I'm totally comfortable with having 10 lip balms because I will get through them. I love lip balm. I need lip balm, and I'm I'm happy that I use up 10 lip balms per year, and I would totally believe that. Again, long commutes. I've gone on like a lot of road trips over the course of the last 3 years, and I'm constantly applying lip balm when I'm in the car. So that's where we sit with lip balm. For lip gloss, in 2020, I had 8 lip gloss empties. And then I feel like between 2020 and 2021, I like fell in love with lip gloss. And that's when like my lip gloss collection exploded, as well as my obsession with lip gloss. So in 2020, I had 8 empties. In 2021, I had 19 lip gloss empties, which I am so happy about because my lip gloss collection has been out of control. So at least I'm like working my way through lip gloss. And lip gloss, again, like I have gloss everywhere in my purse. I always have it with me. I'm constantly putting it on my lips. I always have something on my lips, you guys. Like every moment of the day, whether I'm wearing makeup or not, I either have a lip gloss or a lip balm on my lips. But I had 19 empties in 2021, and then I had 12 lip gloss empties in 2020, which, considering I was not as active in my makeup consumption in 2022, I am really happy with 12 empties. So I averaged 13 lip gloss empties, and I'm hoping to beat my lip gloss average this year. I would love to have like 15. I do have quite a few actually mini lip glosses, so would love to work my way through some mini lip glosses. I also do have some lip glosses that I entered the year that were like almost empty, so I have some that I could finish off really quickly. But my lip gloss collection currently stands at 62 lip glosses, so we definitely have some work to do in the lip gloss category, and I would love to see me beat my average lip gloss empties in 2023. For blush, I was actually surprised. I had 1 blush empty in 2020. I must have finished, I believe it was a liquid blush from Flower Beauty in 2020. In 2021, I had 3 blush empties, which I believe I finished off Tarte Partey Hourglass Mood Exposure, and it must have been a liquid blush. I don't remember which one. But in 2022, I had 0 blush empties. So I average 1.3 blush empties per year, which I'm actually surprised it's over 1, because blush, first of all, I have 60 blushes in my collection. So I have blush probably until, you know, I'm dead. Or at least blush that will get me through, like it'll get me to the nursing home, into the bingo hall, like all the things. I don't ever need to buy blush again, but you all know I will. But I was surprised to see my blush average at 1.3. I do have 1 liquid blush that I am certain I can finish this year. Also my Charlotte Tilbury, maybe 2. So maybe I could beat my blush average this year, and I should. Like I literally should tell myself I can't buy any more blush. But I also don't think I can do that to myself. All right, for lipstick in 2021, I had 1 lipstick empty? Yes, 1. In 2021, I had 3 lipstick empties, which I'm like, what? I don't remember finishing off 3 lipsticks in 2021, but I'm proud of myself for that. And then in 2022, I only had 1 lipstick empty, for an average of 2 lipsticks, for an average of 1.6 lipsticks per year. Would love to finish 2 lipsticks this year and beat my average for lipstick. I have so many lipsticks that I could try and get through. I just need to like grind, like put my head down and grind and really focus on the lipstick category. My lips in general, like lips as a whole, we're like out of control. Specifically for lipsticks, I currently have 42 in my collection. It's a lot. We have enough lipstick to get me to the bingo hall days as well. That's a little alarming. For liquid lipstick in 2021 or 2020, I had 1 liquid lipstick empty. In 2021, I had 2 liquid lipstick empties, and then in 2022 I actually had 3 liquid lipstick empties. So we keep going up in liquid lipstick, which is wild because I never reach for my liquid lipsticks. Now I do have 1 liquid lipstick specifically I have in my mind that I want to finish this year, but I do not think I'm going to beat my average of 2 liquid lipstick empties this year. Like I don't think I'm going to do it, but fingers crossed, maybe I will. Because I do have quite a few liquid lipsticks. I have like at least probably 5 that are at least halfway done. I just never wear liquid lipstick. So currently in my collection I have 31 liquid lipsticks. ridiculous. For lip liner, in 2020 I finished 1 lip liner. In 2021 I finished 0, and then in 2022 I had 1 lip liner empty for an average of 0.6. I'm hoping I finish off at least 1 lip liner this year, if not 2. Lip liner is just not a category that I wear that frequently. I definitely have to like have it in a project or have it like right out on my vanity to remind me to use lip liner. Otherwise I don't use it. But I would love to finish 2 lip liners this year. I currently have 17 lip liners in my collection, which is a lot for a girl that does not wear lip liner that frequently. For eyeliner, in 2020 I used up 1 eyeliner. In 2022 I used up 6, and I'm like, what? And then in 2022 I used up 5, which I guess would make sense because liquid liner. But I'm like, really? For an average of 4 eyeliners per year. In terms of like waterline eyeliner, I probably average 1 or less per year. I do currently have, how many eyeliners are in my collection? 32, which I guess I average 4 per year. So would love to have at least 4 eyeliner empties this year, which I think is doable because I do have some liquid liners in my collection that are open that I'm working my way through. Plus I have 1 from Urban Decay that I think will be an empty, and I would love to finish off 1 more like pencil eyeliner this year, but we'll see. For liquid shadow, in 2020 I finished off 2, in 2021 I finished off 2, and then in 2020 I finished off 1 for an average of 1.6. Liquid eyeshadow I just don't reach for, again, unless it's in a project and I have that constant like encouragement to use it. But I do, so I currently have 4 liquid shadows in my collection. There's one that I will be decluttering because it recently, the like doe foot broke on it. So I'll have 3 in my collection. I would love to at least finish off the 2 Stila liquid shadows that I purchased last year, just to actually like empty them out and get use out of them. And then I do have 1 other liquid shadow that I got in PR last year. I don't know that I'll have that as an empty as well this year, but I would love to end 2023 with 2 liquid shadow empties and just stop buying liquid shadow because I just don't use it. It is just not something I naturally reach for, and I should stop buying it. 2 more categories to get through for brows. In 2020, I finished off 2 brow products. In 2021, I finished off 7. And then in 2022, I finished off 4 for an average of 4.3. I have been on such a journey with brow products in my brow routine. I used to only do a brow powder. And then I started to do like brow pencils with like a brow gel. And I've recently switched back to a powder as well as like a brow gel, just because there is a shade within my Pan That palette that I am using as a powder in my brows now, just to try and get use out of that shadow. I'll be really curious to see where I end for brow empties in 2023. Average of 4.3, I don't know. It's possible I use up 4 or more brow products this year, but I could also see myself only having like 2. I'll for sure finish off 1, if not 2 pencils. I have a brow pen, like, you know what? I think I will beat this for brows, but we'll see. We'll see. I currently have, how many brow products in my collection? I have 8 brow products currently in my collection, so not terrible, not the best, but that's where we sit for brows. And then for highlighters, in 2020, I had 0 highlight empties. 2021, 0 highlight empties. And then 2022, I had 4 highlighter empties, but many of these were the Marc Jacobs, like, they were little mini liquid highlights, and I ended up mixing those into a lotion. It wasn't like I used it on my actual face. I would love to finish off at least 1, just 1 powder highlight this year. I've never finished a powder highlight in my life. My average highlight empties is 1.3. I am currently focused on my Bobbi Brown Pink Glow, which is just a mini, and I also think with a little effort I could finish off my Becca Mini Rose Quartz, which is my favorite highlight in my collection. I would be the happiest girl ever if I could just finish off 2 powder highlights this year. I would feel so accomplished. So that is the goal. And then I just realized I have 1 category left to talk about, and it is eyeshadow primer. Oh, by the way, for my highlight category, I currently have 40 highlights in my collection. And on average, I finish off 1.3 highlights a year, and like there's been 2 years I have had 0 highlight empty scope. So that's ridiculous. Yeah, it looks like I'll be a beaming goddess in that bingo haul because I will still have highlight I'll still have highlight 40 years from now. Hopefully that highlighter bling will bring me some luck in that bingo haul. But the last category is eye primer. In 2020, I had 0 eye primer empties. 2021 I had 1, and then 2022 I had 2 eyeshadow primer empties. This year I am really close to finishing up my NYX brow glue, so I know that will be an empty. I'm also hoping to finish off one of my eyeshadow primers, so I'm hoping to have 2 eyeshadow primers again this year. I think on average I'll always average somewhere between 1 and 2. Eyeshadow primer takes forever to get through. I currently have 5 eye primers in my collection. I will replace my glitter glue once I finish the one that I'm currently working on, just because I do like to have a glitter glue in my collection. So I need to work my way through some of my other eye primers before I purchase any, but 5 is way too many because I average 1 empty a year. So that is, oh, and then I wanted to wrap it up by talking about total empties per year. So in 2020, I had 104 makeup empties throughout the course of the year. In 2021, I had 108, and then we fell back in 2022 and I had 77 makeup empties. So on average, over the course of the last 3 years, I've averaged 96.3 makeup empties. I am really hopeful I will have over 100 makeup empties again this year. We are currently 22 days, the day that I'm filming this, 22 days into January, and I have done my makeup 18 out of those 22 days. So I'm doing my makeup so much more than I was most months in 2022. So I'm already just so happy about that, and I'm super excited to see where my makeup empties end at the end of the year. But that is my makeup analysis of my makeup empties over the course of the last 3 years. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. In the comments, let me know if you track your makeup empties, what your analysis is looking like, or just let's chat about football. Giving you an update, we are at 8:51 in the first, and it's still 0-0 Cowboys 49ers. This video is going to go up a few days after this game, so you know, maybe we can chat about the winner in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video, for supporting my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.